Meet in the middle. 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 Meet in the middle.
Meet in the middle.
Hello everybody, we're here with Reverend Eric Lee. Reverend Lee, I just wanted to know if you had some inspirational thoughts this afternoon for all these wonderful people that stepped out in Fresno to talk and to also talk to our live feed audience and speak a little words of wisdom and of what you've seen in the past and what you might think the future may hold.
Well, any civil rights movement, any social justice movement is going to take time because you have to get the buy-in and the support of a greater population than the ones who are just being discriminated against. And so to come in these type of numbers here in the middle of the state in Fresno is, I think, a very good step in trying to communicate to the rest of the state that marriage equality is a justice issue. It's a right that should be given to every person who is a citizen of the state. That the church really doesn't have the right to forcibly impose its theology upon a state institution or the citizens of the state. And so I think it's just a matter of continuing to communicate that message, continuing to reach out across communities, cultural barriers, economic barriers, racial barriers, to give people a dialogue about what is just and what is unjust.
Okay. I'm going to go out, I'm going to knock on some doors, right. I'm going to do some canvassing. I have African American folks in my family. What can I say to them to help them understand, and their religious viewed folk that are steadfast in their views? How can I help them understand my position so I can speak to them in the same way?
Well, I think what has to happen is one critical question that needs to be asked of everyone. Is it right to deny one group of people the same rights that are afforded to another group of people simply because you have a disagreement about their life? And if they answer that question, yes, then they really have an issue that is not about justice, but about discrimination, about oppression, about religion. And so what has to happen is make people explain why they feel that they have the right to deny the rights. And if they say because it's a religious issue, yeah. What you ask them is, does your religion mandate discrimination?
Okay. Does
your religion mandate you stopping me from having the same rights and benefits that other people have? And it doesn't. And so what you have to do is to make sure that people understand that there is generally a separation of church and state.
Generally.
There has to be. And one, they don't have the right to impose their theology upon any state institution or citizens. But two, I think that in religion, it's not about judging or condemning people. It's about walking to their own personal convictions of what they believe, and they have to allow other people to walk according to their own personal convictions. You can't make people live like you live.
Okay, yeah.
And it's close to the Christian Crusades. It's religious persecution. What's interesting to me is that African Americans sided with the Mormon Church, who up until 1978...
That was surprising to you?
Oh, very much so. But I don't know if the African Americans knew that the Mormon Church was so heavily behind the movement for Proposition 8 or so heavily invested in it. But the Mormon religion, who up until 1978 had a doctrine of discrimination and racism, because they said that people of color, black people, had the curse of Cain and would not get into Mormon heaven. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't allow them into the priesthood. And today, the Mormon Church doesn't allow women in the priesthood. So
that's history.
That's history.
Yeah.
And here's the only reason they changed. They got this divine revelation about discrimination because schools were boycotting Brigham Young and Utah State in athletics, in men's sports. They weren't able to make the money in athletics, so it caused them to change their doctrine of discrimination in order to participate in the whether it's the Western Athletic Conference or whatever conference that Utah State and Brigham Young was in. They changed their doctrine, not because of divine revelation, but because they were losing out on money. So I'm not sure that the hearts are really changed. Now, African Americans siding with the oppressor to oppress another people, I have a big challenge with that. And so I just believe that we need to, African Americans, to have a logical, rational discussion about the real issue of marriage equality. People are afraid of the term marriage being applied to gay and lesbian couples. But a gay and lesbian couple being married doesn't impact my marriage. I'm married to my wonderful wife, and it does not, what another couple does not impact my marriage. And so there's a lot of homophobia that goes on, and almost a don't ask, don't tell policy in the African American community, and probably many other communities. But we have to begin the dialogue on why you feel it's right to discriminate.
And one last question. The African American community, and they're important to me because they're part of my life, they're part of my family. How can I reach out? How can I reach out to them? I'm going to speak on what you said and convince my sister-in-law, convince my cousins and my nephews and nieces to understand this. Where do you see the African American community in this position right now, right today? End of May 2009. Where are they? What are they thinking right now?
Right now, the African American community is not prepared to vote for marriage equality.
Okay.
They look at it as a religious issue, and here's where I can help you. Marriage is a civil institution because the state issues the marriage license. The clergy asks for the marriage license and gets 2 witnesses to sign it, making it a legal document. And so it is a state institution that people have the option or the choice of having it consecrated in the faith of their choice, in the house of worship of their choice, or by the clergy of their choice. Or they don't have to have it. They could do it in a courtroom, a judge's chambers, or city hall. I would take it one step further. When a couple divorces, who determines the distribution of property? Who determines child visitation and child support? Who determines child custody? And who enforces it? Is it the church or is it the state? It's the state. So I am convinced that marriage, if you get a divorce and you have to worry about the distribution of property, the church is not going to step in. They have no authority and no right to say who gets what in a divorce, how many days one of the spouses can visit their children, how much alimony is paid, how much child support is paid. The church cannot enforce that. They do not have that authority. But the state, through the court system, has the authority and enforces that distribution of property and all those other rights and privileges. And so if that's not convincing enough that this is a state institution, I don't know what is.
Thank you for speaking with me. You've really enlightened my viewpoint. I will share this with my family.
Good.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
God bless you.